Hey guys, how's it going? It's Al. I'm back. It is Thursday, and every single Thursday I have a new video for you. My 5 picks for week 2. We're going to talk a little bit about DraftKings Sportsbook, the 5 plays that I am looking at the most against the spread this week, as well as my survivor pick for week 2. We do have an eliminator challenge on ESPN.com. I'll put a link for that in the description down below if you want to join the group. It is a locked group. The password for the group is smizzle. So just click the link, use that password smizzle, and jump in there. Hopefully you've already had an eliminator on ESPN and you can jump into our survivor group there as well. Looking at week 1, I recapped this on the Monday recap video. If you didn't watch that, we did horribly in week 1. I went 1-4. I went 1-4 at least one time last year. I think maybe twice. End of the year 29-20-1 against the spread. So I'm going to have to try and rebound here in week 2. I do have to put this disclaimer at the beginning of every one of these videos. I live in California. I don't sports bet. It is against the law in California for me to do it. I do this as a personal task to flex some muscles that I don't normally get to flex, because I like working out on things and I like projects. It's what I do. I like to challenge myself in many different ways. For those of you who've been following me for the 6-7 years that I've been doing daily fantasy research and playing and different podcasts and shows and TV and everything else, welcome back. For those of you who are new, thank you for finding this channel. I appreciate you clicking on this video. Please drop a like, subscribe to the channel, and ring that notifications bell, because I put out 6 to 8 videos every single week here on YouTube. Every single one of them, save maybe one, is recorded live on twitch.tv. So a link to that is down below in the description as well. I would love to see you over there. One last plug in the pinned tweet, in the pinned comment down below. There's a link to my Instagram page. We're approaching 2,500 followers on Instagram. Let's see if by kickoff this Sunday we can get this above 2,500. The march to 3,000 continues. Thank you for all the new follows on Instagram. I appreciate you guys with all the love that you've had for me on all these social media channels recently: YouTube, Twitch, Instagram, and everything else that we're attempting to grow as we get into the season. We're going to keep it going. So looking over at DK Sportsbook, you have all the lines for this week. Thursday night game, Tampa Bay against Carolina in Carolina, Buffalo Giants, Seattle and Pittsburgh, Indy against the Titans in kind of a slow-paced game, Chargers against the Lions, 2 of the slowest-paced teams in the league with a total of 48, and the Chargers missing 1, if not 2, of their top targets on the week, with Hunter Henry out and Mike Williams is injured. This is an interesting total. I don't know if it's going to go over that. It might. I don't know, though. Teams kind of play real slow. They're going to have to be very efficient with touchdowns for them to get there. Minnesota against Green Bay, Dallas at Washington, a lot of in-conference games. Baltimore getting to face off against Arizona at home. We're going to stream against Arizona pretty much all season long in daily fantasy. 13 points is a lot to lay against an offense that can score as much as they can score, no matter how good that defense is. They're going to put defenses in spots that are going to make it assignment defense, which, if you've ever played football before, understand football, it's not the same. The way you have to defend Arizona versus the way you're going to have to defend every other team. They're going to put defenses in spots where they have to make a decision, and it's going to be different from your normal scheme on a week-to-week basis. So 13 points may be too much there. San Francisco against the Bengals, Jacksonville, Houston, New England laying 18.5 on the road in Miami. Kansas City against the Raiders, -7 on the road. The Bears going to Denver, -2.5. The Saints travel to the Rams, where they are just a juggernaut at home. Philly going to Atlanta, and Browns going to the Jets. A lot of road favorites here in week 2. I'm going to get right to my first pick of the week. My first pick right here. The San Francisco 49ers won their first game. Were not all that impressive to me, although their front 4 does look impressive. They spent a lot of draft capital trying to improve their front 7. Bosa looked very good. They were able to get pressure on Jameis Winston and cause some turnovers. That offensive line for Tampa is an absolute mess. The offensive line for the Bengals, not great either, but I'm taking the Bengals here -2. I like the situations that they can put San Francisco into. I'm going to lay the 2 points here. Hope that they win by more than, win by a field goal or more. This does not seem like it's out of the realm. San Francisco going across the country, playing on the East Coast, all the Ace Rothstein narratives that you can come up with. Give me the Bengals in this game. Second game that I like, I talked already about how many points they're laying. 19 points. DraftKings Sportsbook just had it at 18.5 when we looked at the sportsbook just before coming over here. Miami's a tough place for the Patriots to go. You have a lot of ex-coaches from the Patriots on this Miami staff. Yes, they looked horrible last week. This is a pride game. This is pride week for the Dolphins. You got to show that you can play. And yes, there are rumors that this team has already quit. I don't believe it. Yes, there are veterans that have made calls to their agents about wanting to get traded out of Miami. Totally agree with that. But you also have to understand that these guys do not want to put bad tape out there. Nobody's going to go out on a football field on an NFL Sunday without the pride in themselves and without knowing that if you put bad tape out there, you're costing yourselves hundreds of thousands of dollars, if not millions of dollars down the road, because you will get labeled as a quitter. They're going to get out there and they're going to play hard. They're going to try and bounce back from that embarrassing loss a week ago. I'm not saying they're going to win this game. I think the Patriots win going away, but 19 points is a lot to cover. We had the Eagles last week, -10. They gave up 17 first half points, ended up getting out to a point where they were covering the spread, and with 6 seconds left, Trey Quinn caught a touchdown and pulled it back. That was a 10-point spread. 19 is a lot. If Miami can score 13 points, this game looks like something where they could cover. I'm going to take the 19 or 18.5 at home and hope that Miami can cover this game. The next game that I'm going to go after, talked about the Saints and the Rams. Love this game from a football watching perspective. Drew Brees on the road has been a problem for years. Although Drew Brees on the road is still better than most quarterbacks anywhere, Drew Brees on the road and outdoors can be a bit of an issue. The Rams only laying 2.5 points. They are a much better offense at home. Jared Goff way more efficient at home. That defense can do things that can stifle this Saints offense enough that I think they're going to cover the 2.5 points that they have to lay here in Los Angeles. Give me the Rams offense here. They can do things that are going to put the Saints defense in a little bit of precarious situations, and I think that the Saints will score, and I think that the Saints players are going to have fantastic days for fantasy, but I think that the Rams have enough juice to cover that 2.5, just like they did in week 1 against the Panthers. Next game, the Bears traveling to Denver. Denver looked awful in Oakland. Now they get to come back home, but a shorter week for them versus a long week for the Bears, who played on Thursday night. As bad as the Bears look, their offensive coaches have 10 days to prepare for this one. Broncos preparing on a short week. Give me the Bears -2.5 here. I think they figure things out a little bit with the run. With their David Montgomery, Mike Davis situation. I'm not saying, especially not on this video, I'm not going out and saying, well, I think David Montgomery is going to get 20 carries. I think Mike Davis is going to get 20 carries. That's not the point. I think that they will fix the issues that they had offensively. They were too cute with their play calling in that opening game against Green Bay. This is not a divisional opponent. We know that divisional matchups are a lot tougher for teams because these teams have seen each other. The coaches understand what they're trying to do, and it's a different sort of a chess match than an out-of-division opponent. This Bears defense is going to absolutely clobber Joe Flacco. They're going to put him into spots where he's going to have to make hurried, rushed throws. And we know that Joe Flacco is not what he used to be. We know that Joe Flacco is on the wrong side of that hill. He is still better than what else they have in Denver. But I'm going to take my chances with the Bears defense. Tariq Cohen playing on the outside, 50 snaps, most of them being played at wide receiver. Allen Robinson, an absolute monster, and 2 very gifted running backs running behind a good offensive line. The Bears -2.5 is just not enough. Give me the Bears in this one. Cleveland Browns going up against the Jets in their horrible medical tent situation. The MASH unit, their quarterback probably sitting this game out. Give me the Browns -2.5. As Sam Darnold has mono. I don't know who he was kissing, but it was definitely somebody. The Browns got embarrassed at home in week 1, as it appears that they were reading all the press clippings this off season. This is a spot where they got to show some pride and sack up and get after it. I think that they do, and I think they win this game going away. The weakest spot for the Jets defense is their defense on the outside. Odell Beckham, Jarvis Landry, Rashard Higgins going to go to work here. I don't think that Chubb is going to have a big game, but he is one play away anytime he touches the ball. Massive big play threat. And the Jets could put some pressure on the Browns, but also are dealing with injuries in their defensive front and their front seven in total. Give me the Browns here running away. So those are my picks for the week. The Bengals -2, the Dolphins +18.5, the Rams -2.5, the Bears -2.5, and the Browns -2.5. This video is sponsored by -2.5. Getting to my survivor pick, here we have our group in the Eliminator Challenge. The Smiz Life group, don't F up. That's the rules. As for the picks on the week, we used in week 1, who did we use? The Seattle Seahawks. So they're off the board for us. Looking at some of the picks that people have gone with, people are always going after that Thursday night game. 10% of the field on the Carolina Panthers, 5% on the Cowboys, 36% on the Patriots, and that's where I'm landing. If they lose this game down in Miami, I'm out. The Tennessee Titans with 3%, Ravens at 18% up against Arizona, Houston Texans at 8%, Kansas City at 5% on the road. Kind of risky to take a road team when you can wait until they're at home in your eliminator pools. And the Browns, I think, are going to climb from this 3% as the weekend goes on with all the injuries that the Jets and all the sicknesses that the Jets are dealing with. So those are my 5 picks, and that's my pick for the Survivor. I thank you guys for joining once again. Appreciate you being here. Please, if you would be so kind, drop a like on the channel, drop a like on the video, subscribe to the channel. Be sure you ring that notifications bell if you would be so kind in the pinned comment down below. There is a link to my Instagram page. Please give me those 2 clicks. And I'd love to meet you and see you over on Twitch, where we stream 5 days a week. Hopefully we'll get to meet you guys over there. Thank you for showing up. I'll catch you guys later. Bye.